backline, Funny Astro and Landon, you've got to keep their eyes on them because they can make plays.
We got 6 seconds left. It is time to get second match of the quarterfinals underway. Let's go to the Qiddiya Arena.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Overwatch at the Esports World Cup. Crazy Raccoon just trounced Ents and move on to their semifinal game tomorrow.
Our game 1 was as quickly as best of 7 matches can be, but our next one promises to be one for the books. So please, let us introduce our first team to the stage, and it is Zeta Division. By only dropping 2 maps in Group C, they absolutely dominated 3 opponents from 3 different regions. There's not much more that can show how thick their strat sheets are, not even counting an entire prep day and rest day yesterday. They have been to semi-finals before in Asia, but can they replicate that success on an international stage?
And their opponents, please welcome the best of the West, Space Station Gaming! They blasted through Gaimin Gladiators in their playoffs game yesterday, guarded by one of the best tanks in Overwatch. Their international ceiling mirrors that of their opponent Zeta, but only one can even reach it here at the Esports World Cup. Space Station, Zeta Division, please place your keys and take your seats.
We know who our first semi-finalists are, but who's gonna go against them? We're about to find out, so let's get it on.
The match is set. The players are taking the stage. It's time to find out where the coaches go. Jake, break down the coaching staff and the decision here, because we know the map is going to be control on Ilios. So what do you want to ban? What do you want to protect potentially here to open up the best of 7?
Honestly, this is a tough draw for Space Station Gaming. It's a vertical map, a lot of mobility, but they do have Backbone in the roster. Zeta gonna go with banning the Kiriko, which is an interesting choice. Does block some of these faster dive styles that might be played around Psycho Echo. Maybe that's why we see Backbone in. The Ash ban comes in. Another interesting choice. I think neither team wants to expend particularly impactful bans on a map like Ilios, especially for Space Station, who, to be honest, this map might be a write-off. This is going to be a really rough one to make that Rhine style work.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing as the tournament has been evolving, is that there's this idea that because it's a long series, right, it's first to 4, even if you know a band that might be really good on the map you're playing on, you have to second guess yourself and go, but is it the right time to use it? Is this the best time to use it? And it's that level of strategy that makes coaches think 3-4 steps ahead.
The map is Ilios. It's loading up. Our casters are ready, so let's send it upstairs. Achilleos, Avril, let's get this party started.
Party's long since been started, Puckett, at least for us up here in the casting booth. Got through that first series, now we jump into our second one. Another team is going to be going home. Another team is going to be denied that bump up to 80K and a chance at the grand final. Let's see though. Hey, you're fine.
Hello.
It's a little bit warm in here, so you can leave the jacket off. But yes, let's get ready to go into this one. We have another European squad challenging against some Koreans to see if they can do what Ents could not.
It's unfortunately another, I think, slightly unlucky map choice coming through for Space Station. Obviously, the first map is predetermined, and Space Station, like Ents, would like to avoid these types of dive maps early on. Zeta Division, they're happy to play it. Fearless has been starting the entire way through. He's going to be on the Winston. Obviously, not going to be on the ball because he doesn't quite have that in his hero pool compared to the Winston. But let's see how these early fights play on through. It's a Brig Anna for Zeta Division. Very standard Alfie. He's been spamming the most fire of all DPSs, I think, this whole tournament, right next to Sauna.
All right, well, let's see how they fare. Going to be playing around, have the teleports to try to get up onto the high ground and maybe contest, but widely. Alpha Yi only going to have to concern himself against Sparker and Landon. As for now, initial cap looking here for the side of Zeta Division. TP going to be coming through. That's quickly going to be dealt with as Alpha Yi already up to 70% towards that opening barrage. Immortality Field going to be cleared out. Fearless going to be taken down by Hadi on the trade. Trade up, however, going to be found here at Space Station. Take down Violet, take down Flora, and that's going to be them actually taking away the first cap.
Minimal losses here for Space Station as well. You definitely take those. Zeta Division, it's definitely going to have to be a reset. He has the first cap, first point going over towards the way of Space Station. And Landon and Funny Astro looking very healthy on the ult charge here as well. It's Finn and Violet very far behind. Not a lot of input on that last opening neutral. Can Alpha Yi get something done? A lot of extra heavy damage. I mean, that part of the reason why Funny Astro and Landon probably are that ahead is because Alpha Yi's rocket splash damage has translated to a lot of healing.
Yeah. Plenty of damage, no confirmed kills. Can come back to bite you, so while you do get your own ultimate available, those ones that are going to be there to try to counteract your barrage can come into play. Fan of the hammer here. Fearless going to be taken down, just diving in way too deep. Doesn't have anybody there to try to escort him forward and keep him alive. Mortality Field going to be cleared out. Barrage up over the top. Hadi will fall trade on the tanks. Now Sparker going down equalizes the count. And 2 for 2. Respawn here on Fearless. Going to be able to get back a little bit faster. The stick from Flora, stylish, but still the turn from Landon gives him a parting gift headshot to equalize.
Really important there as well. Still 4v4 until Funny Astro goes down. Gigantic kill now. Space Station don't have the backline to work through. I think a tempo beat there could have been really important for Space Station if they wanted to extend a little bit further. As we're about to get into the wheelhouse of Zeta Division ultimates. Look at Finn and Violet finally a little bit later into the map. They're going to get those double support ultimates. Nano online for Fearless, potentially also for Alpha Yi. A rally to contest the sound barrier.
Has to be the recipient. They have to pull the trigger on that ultimate. Beat's going to come out from Funny Astro in response. Deadeye still held here by Sparker to try to clear out the point a little bit more. And I'm going to be expiring. Rally in the back pocket of Violet as Flora takes a little bit of damage, and Alpha Yi just looks to try to stave them off. 28% going to be built up. The rally now popped from Violet as they look to push forward, and here comes the juggle. Primal Rage, the TP across. Fearless on the hunt, wants to try to isolate and conquer, and will be able to do so as Landon falls, but Violet gets caught up. So going to be a 1-for-1. Support's dead on either side as Finn taking quite a bit of damage, not quite taken down, but Backbone able to confirm the kill here in the end. He and Hadi, though, last one standing over here towards the point, and the HP bars are just not in their favor. Backbone trying to get the flip, will be able to do so as the photon barrier comes through. Alpha Yi cannot stop that.
Yeah, he has to give that one up now. Just going to play around the edges. Still stay a little bit relevant for damage. The rocket barrage will come through a little bit later on as the wall fades. Zeta Division are going to have the regroup in here. Already pushing the cap itself. Spacers need to get onto this.
Hadi on the ride now. That fire strike maybe catching Violet off guard. Either way, ends up getting caught up by it. Gets taken down. Swing around the back on the hunt. Trying to see what he can spot out here. See if he can come up with any pins. But it's just Fearless playing high-low, high-low.
Comes a huge risk. Alfie just dropping a barrage directly on top of Hadi. He doesn't have a lot of capability to get out of the way. If he doesn't have a full shield, that could just be his life.
You're going to have to try to whittle away that one as the pulse bomb stick is going to be huge.
Oh my
and
God.
And they get corralled together. Sparker similarly going to be taken down by the blast. A huge pickup there from Flora as now Hadi left all on his lonesome, just going to be delaying, accruing as much percentage as humanly possible, but ultimately it's going to be 95% here for SSG as the flip comes back in.
It's a double again, so I believe it's a TP. It looks like Backbone took the TP and ran it into his teammate.
Hadi playing Mystery Heroes.
Well, that's the thing. The Ryan is just not going to do enough. He wanted to go the Ryan to maybe get back a little quicker and surprise the opponents, but there's no surprises here. Okay, you went Ryan, and what are you going to do about it? You can't really pin anybody. There's a lot of high ground here. It's obviously a bad pick, so Hadi has to go back to the D.Va.
Okay, TP across, been taken down. Backbone, huge right click to find him, and Violet similarly eliminated. Beat going to be dropped here from Funny Astro as Space Station want to go ahead and claim this opening round. The flip is going to be coming through, and now they have to rely on Flora to kind of go for this touch, but he has already been found out. Isolated in the back line, taken down. That's it. It's over.
That's beautiful stuff. Landon and Backbone working together there. What you have is a TP into a window, into a full charge right click from Backbone, and that's a one shot onto just about any regular hero. So, I mean, that's extremely important for SSG to be able to pull through these incredible combos, save the situation, recover from the fact that, okay, you had a really weird situation with that Ryan, go back over towards D.Va, you can actually support your team properly. But it is something you have to bring up, the fact that you have a Zeta Division that were largely, I think, behind on ults for most of this round. So tempo-wise, SSG did a great job of just keeping the pace very, very heavy, very, very fast as well. And you need something like that to go up against a stronger dive team. They know that they're the weaker team in terms of the dive matchup. Zeta know that they're the stronger team in terms of dive matchup. But as we move into Lighthouse here, Space Station, Hardy was gonna go towards the jungle lane. He was thinking about it, but now it's gonna be the Ryan TP directly onto the point. And Zeta, Alfie has to do a lot of heavy lifting here onto the fire to really defeat this.
And he does, but getting in sight lines to really poke and prod into the point here, gonna prove to be a little bit more difficult for him. Wall cutting off that back access, allowing them to just focus forward. Immortality field forced out here as Landon eating quite a bit of damage. Zap's coming across, and that's going to be Fearless, able to find that opening kill. Stun in as he does get pinned against the wall, but the kill cannot be confirmed, so still going to be the man advantage, but Space Station close to getting the flip, but Fearless comes back through. Stomps on a Sparker, the cleanup looking good. Hottie will find one as Flora does get taken down, but he's antied out and isolated, so will just end up dying, and Zeta can get the first cap.
I think Fire is an ideal hero to break this sort of hold as well, because again, Space Station's strategy here is to TP directly onto the point. You're going into May Wall, you're going to Symmetra turrets, but if you have off-angle control, Flora and Alfie can play off angles, maybe force that Finn Byron to land through when Hardy can't cover every single entrance, then Zeta Division have a good opportunity. And the most important thing here is, usually it takes a long time to break that hold. Space Station should have been able to get the first cap, but they didn't.
Well, the TPing quickly in. Fearless the one who has to try to really keep this protected, but no, okay, minor little angle, but Flora noted. Backbone saying, I see through your ruse. Immediately swings the corner, finds a headshot into the melee, hit to confirm the kill. And just like that, Space Station have control of the point, and they're going to be able to take the lead from here.
And Flora's upset about that because usually, especially post-season 9 in Overwatch, you can't get one shot by the Mei anymore as a Tracer, but if your melee range, the melee also comes in through, you're gone. No chance to recall, instantly dead. Huge play by Backbone. He must have heard something, or he just has spidey senses. That sixth sense came on through really heavy.
I mean, this guy plays so much Mei, he knew he had left a gap, and he saw that the point was being contested. It was one spot that pesky Tracer could have been. Whether or not he knew it was Flora is a different story, but either way, he capitalized beautifully. Nano Barrage going to be coming in. Alfie trying to stay alive, but he cannot. Backbone again, finding that elimination, but damage has been dealt, and the kills will continue to spill over into Zeta's favor.
Crucially, Funny Astro only on 95% to the beat us off, so if he had that available, could have counteracted the Rocket Barrage in some fashion. At least Hardy and the rest of the 4 members could have survived and pushed this cap a little bit further forward. It's about Space Station ever edging that towards a 99, which forces Zeta Division to get more and more desperate, more and more aggressive. Zeta have to play way more patiently than Space Station do. Space Station can repeatedly TP aggression to the point time and time again.
Fearless looking to hold them back. That Mei Wall not going to mean much of anything for him, but 5 ultimates here for the side of Space Station. Primal already going to be popped. Fearless, they're going to come around from behind, sleep there on a Hottie. Quite a bit of damage as, that should be off the side of the map, and it is. Landon going to be taken down. That sound barrier shielding, not going to do a damn thing for a fall of that height. Hottie now gone in the sound barrier, not allowing them to survive. The pick on the land and meant everything.
It actually looked like a player or two got booped out of the TP take that, or maybe they just faked it, but either way, was okay, so no, that's actually, it looks bad.
No, I know.
What he's trying to do is he's trying to preempt the TP, I believe, to try and just kill the TP straight away.
And I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, okay, you see the teleporter come up, immediately send out the pulse bomb.
But he should have waited
for the full prediction.
He should have waited to see the TP first instead of doing that.
Yes, exactly. He's trying to go for a big Nostradamus play. Ends up getting his life taken, as does Violet, though. The Shatter dropped in, the Fire Strike, claiming the kill. Rally unavailable, and Finn still 19% away from having that Nano online, which they would love at this moment, because Fearless will just fall. So Flip is going to come back through Space Station. They're desperately keeping this one close. Still having that opportunity to maybe get the 2-0.
Well, Finn needs to get this Nano. That allows Fearless to dive onto the point itself, create some space, maybe find a Primal. Alpha E, that's the key player, because once the shields are broken, once that lamp is gone, he has free reign to use the Rocket Barrage from any of the side entrances, and Hardy cannot cover all of them. Backbone cannot cover all of them with the wall. It has to come down from that lamp, and Landon's only got one of them, long cooldown.
Maybe another chance here at the Nano Barrage. His Backbone just stuck into the corner. Barrier at the ready. Sensu can just go ahead and poke out from the point itself. Pulse bomb into the side. Florida unable to find the connection there. I think Sparker maybe just tucking in front of the wall fast enough to be able to avoid it, but Landon does end up dying.
He wants Hardy. Alpha he needs Hardy here.
Wall coming back up. Couple shots there. Sparker taking low. Funny Astro trying to stay alive. 6% away from that beat, and that could be the difference maker here on this map. Could seal the deal on victory or failure. Beat does come through. Catches on the 4. Landon the only one not receiving as O'Reilly gets popped here from Violet. Hottie, however, isolated, pushed out of the point, and taken down. Blizzard going to expire. Alpha E gets traded out. That barrage not yet seen, but can just maybe hold it for the next volley here, as it seems like Zeta Division should be able to get this flip. Cleave down on a Sparker. Finn will fall. It's going to be a slow run back here for the Ana. They need to not lose out on additional players here. Landon down low, but Fearless comes right back over to the point. The cleanup is going to be good.
Still 20% left to play through, so it's not actually over yet. All the ultimates have basically been expended. Space Station have not much to play through here. They're going to have to go really quickly. If there is a single good conk from Alpha E to block people from going through the teleporter, that could be really bad. They're actually going to wait just a little while longer. Maybe they'll go through the back where they are. Look at Sparker's position. They're going to go all the way to the back.
Oh, well, Alpha, you're going to be spotted. There's the TP forward.
Someone the boot!
Oh, the boot! Violet with a whip shot. Sends Backbone to his grave. Immortality Field going to be taken down as Alpha E just looks to contain them here within the hot tub room. Shots flying down, and this is going to be going the distance here on Ilios. As Zeta Division, a huge play, a great deny from Violet.
And that's why you don't normally take that TP, because it's so risky. You're gonna get booped, and there are heroes that can do that. Alfie is also waiting with the barrage. He's got a conk blast as well. There's so many different ways for the squad of Zeta Division to prevent you from taking the TP, and I don't think everyone took it. A couple players took it, and then the rest of the players you saw got locked up in that side room with the pause. That's a free rocket barrage for Alfie to lock them out. Hardy on his own, so can't really do anything about it. To be honest with you, SSG actually played this reasonably well. They did as well as they could have. They got, what, to 99? They had the lead for a reasonable amount. It looked like it should have failed on basically the first neutral, because the first neutral, if you remember, SSG got wiped out. They didn't even cap the point, but they had the confidence to say, we can still play this. We know we're behind, but we can get ahead. And they did, at least for a while. As we now head into Ruins, Hardy doesn't want to do anything in terms of dive. No Diva here. Straight towards a ram. They want to force the brawl, but they know they can't play Ryan.
See if this can work. Success here for the side of Space Station. Hardy taking quite a bit of damage off screen. You see that HP bar just fluctuating rapidly. Violet pivoting over now onto that Alari. See if we can put up some solid figures. Anti-connecting only on the Sparker though. Immortality Field will still get baited out, so some crucial cooldowns exchanged.
Points open. Space Station on right now. Zeta Division. Where's the damage? They're trying to lock Space Station back over towards
Push out into the
side.
open, and that is everything. That concussive blast from Alpha E, helping to isolate land, and the kill comes in for Fearless, who finds Funny Astra to boot. And that is going to be the opening lockdown here at the point, going the way of Zeta Division once more, you would suspect. Saudi will be able to find one. Ultimately, he and Backbone will both get taken down.
SSG are trying to pressure the point away, but also they're still stuck inside that side room because Alpha E is spamming a ton of damage. 68% is, again, it's exactly what you expect out of the Pharah. And now Hardy going over towards Orion. I said maybe Ryan wasn't going to be the pick here, but he's believing it. He is the Ryan player. This is the Ryan team. The issue is, once more, they have nothing to do against Alpha E, and it's full open rain for Alpha E, full rocket hunting season.
Damage there on the Violet floor as well, just harassing on that flank, just keeping him worked low, poking and prodding where possible. Immortality Field going to be on CD here for the side of Space Station. Landon under fire, down low. Kill can come through. Beat's going to have to be used, and it does get the shielding across onto all 5 players. But it's just basically to retreat. Landon will find one. Now the Ant Matrix going to be used aggressively, but Pulse Bomb comes in. Hottie going to be taken down. Trade out here on the tanks. For the clear out on the TP. Flora able to get rid of that. Barrage still held, and still Zeta Division in control up this point, and they haven't had to commit any of their support ultimates.
Yeah, they killed Fearless, but instantly got traded, so just nothing comes out of that for SSG. They need to be able to get Fearless down again while keeping Hardy alive. Nano now onto Alpha E. Could be a Nano Barrage. Alpha E otherwise, he's just taking damage because he's got so much damage mitigation now.
Is eating quite a bit of it. Ice Block going to be taken down, and he's just going to hold on to it for a rainy day. Says, okay, thank you very much for the Nano. I get to survive. I get to hold this for the next wave.
You really shouldn't see Alpha E die at all. I don't think he's going to cop a single death on this round because there's nothing to shut him down. It's complete, again, free season for Alpha E to do whatever he wants. Backbone feels the pressure. He's like, we need something to at least push Alpha E. It's going to come back to me. Spark is usually the hit scan play, but he's got a wall available, so it's Backbone that has to make the swap.
Desperate times now. The first 2 rounds, very competitive here between the 2 squads. But Zeta Division looking to try to run away with this one as the captive son going to be invested. Barrage finding one. Immortality Field now going to be cleared out. Sparker taken down. Only Alpha Yi. He does suffer that one death, but it's the only one that he will find, as it is death from above. Violet clicking heads, taking names, and taking Zeta up 1-0 here in the series as Ilios is theirs.
A tale as old as time. Pharah absolutely dominates Ryan Brawl compositions. We saw it years ago when Chengdu Hunters ran it to, I think, Atlanta's Reigns' dismay. Gator called it a dishonest hero. Well, if you just want to play Ryan, it certainly does feel dishonest. The unfortunate thing is, if you're SSG, you have to have options against us. In an ideal world, they discover this is not the play. Put Sparker onto the cast. He's got that in the hero pool. He's an amazing cast play. Your best hit scan play, one of the best in Europe. But Sparker's stuck, unfortunately, on the sim. He has a wall available, doesn't want to give it up. Final fight, and decide that's the time to make the swap happen. It's far too late. The really what should have happened is you just don't play the Ryan on that map in the first place. You just can't win with it. I don't believe SSG can win with the Ryan against Alpha East Fire on Ruins.
And it could be a continued pain point and maybe something that SSG are going to have to ban out nice and early. Curious to see what this map draft is going to be looking like, because we have a very flexible team on the side of Zeta and a team that is very set in their ways. So coaches on stage going to be assessing, but for now we'll go ahead and pass it back down.
Thank you, gentlemen. And there you have it. Zeta Division taking home the first game, but it was Space Station Gaming battling back in this one. We saw full 3 rounds of control, something we're not used to. So, Jake, since you're just joining us fresh, I want you to start, my friend. What did you learn just in game number 1?
You know, I thought we'd see more of Bernard in the series, but Fearless coming in was a great look on Ilios. Really, the Winston is very, very impactful on that map, and I think the matchup is actually great against Space Station. There could be more maps in the series where Winston, hero that hasn't been getting so much love this meta, could be a great tool to shut down Space Station when they're all grouped up.
ZP, do you agree? Are we going to see more of the scientist?
Yeah, I do think we'll see more Winston. I also think for Space Station, what we saw here is that they were very comfortable anytime things were indoors.
Yes.
Once we got into Ruins and things were wide open, their comp kind of fell apart a bit. But that's also, I mean, this has been this team's identity for a long time. Up close and personal, in your face, long range games, not necessarily their forte.
Space Station Gaming seems to be running the May Sim. That is their bread and butter. On the other side, Alpha Yi looks best when he's on his far. You can see some of the devastation there. You ban him next game, right? Do you take Alpha out of the sky?
You know, honestly, that's been, I think, a strong point for SSG. They could take us to a Circuit Royale, ban the Pharaoh. That implicitly protects their own Symmetra, and they've shown they can win with that comp on Circuit Royale. I think it's very effective, maybe even the best comp, as long as you've got the Symmetra protected and you're not worried about a Pharaoh in the sky. So wouldn't be surprised to see Christopher and the boys double down on this Rhine Sim. I think in the end, if you go to these dive mirrors, you know, Hadi on the Diva, Psycho's amazing on the Echo, but it's just not this team's strength.
Let's take a look at our audience's prediction results. Over at stcplay.gg, 61% agree with ZP that it's Zeta making a run in this tournament. And ZP, you said this is the team to win it all.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, Crazy Raccoon is definitely more favored, but this is a team that has a lot of potential. It's a team that got even better since the last time we saw them play. They've leveled up, and they were so close to being a top 2 team in Korea even before the recent changes. So this is like one of those teams that feels like it could be the story as they level up over the course of the tournament.
I got to give you mad respect. You're the only one to pick them, and they are on opposite sides of the bracket from Crazy Raccoon. So if that matchup happens, it's in a grand final, right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Jake, talk to me about some of the other heroes on this stage. Who else should we be turning our attention to? We've seen a lot of Space Station Gaming over the last 2 days, but Zeta, they got to sit all yesterday out.
You know, I think for Zeta, one huge asset that we cannot forget on their squad, we saw it in the 3rd round, 100-0 on Ruins as soon as Violet brought out that Illari. I think this is a hero we are going to see more and more of as the top teams in the tournament face off. Not only can you peel your allies, but the top players on support are delivering tons of damage on the hero. The ult can be super impactful as well, and there's few better pilots for the hero than Violet.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a high-skill player like Violet, when you have players that can really take control of the game, it brings back memories of Season 1 Jonak, right? Where you are controlling the tempo of the game from the support role, just popping off when the other team least expects it. The fact that you can have that level of extra firepower coming from your support role for the few players that are very good at Illari is an enormous asset for the teams that can use it.
Violet, one of the most successful, if not the most successful Overwatch 2 player we have here in Riyadh. The man's already won 2 world championships, and he's looking to bank $400,000 if he can take home the title here. But as we take a look at our maps and modes, we know it's going to be Space Station Gaming in the driver's seat. We already got Jake's prediction. He thinks Circuit Royale and a Pharaoh ban is the way to go. What about you, ZP? Are there other options here if I'm the coach, Christopher?
I do think there's other options just because of the fact that if you go to Circuit Royale, the number one thing that I feel like Zeta is going to want to run is Bernard on the Sigma. His Sigma is world class, and it's not necessarily a hero that I think SSG may want to run in this situation. So while the Pharaoh could present problems, I also think that the Sigma presents problems and is also the most comfortable tank for Zeta to play on Circuit Royale.
Jake, where can Hadi swing his hammer?
I think Circuit is actually the spot. I mean, in the end, the Sigma is so strong on Circuit, but for me, the Ryan Sim actually wins the matchup against Sig, although most teams go with Sig because not many teams are very confident on the Sim style. It's very unique. For me, when I was coaching Outlaws, I want us to play May Sim there every single time. I think it is the winning style. It has a great matchup into Sig. Last time, teams banned Lucio to try and shut down SSG's Mei Sim comp, but they still made it work. I think if I was Zeta, I would ban the Rein here on Circuit.
Here it is. Circuit Royale is the map. It's officially locked in. Jake sees the future. So now all you have to do, Jake, is see a Pharah pop up on that
If it's
screen.
Pharah
right?
ban and Rein ban, maybe I'm just the best of all time.
He might be the greatest of all time. ZP, are there other heroes that you could consider banning here if you're Zeta Division?
If you're Zeta Division, I mean, maybe you ban something like the Ram, maybe you ban the Rein here, just the heroes that you know are comfort picks for Hadi in return. Now, of course, if they ban a tank first, you're not going to be able to ban a tank in return. So if we see the Sigma ban come out first, they'll have to target something else.
Here you can see the maps remaining as we head to Circuit Royale. We saw Hadi and crew doing damage behind the shield with the hammer. He's been so good with these shatters, but will Zeta give him an opportunity at Space Station's banned first? And Jake, you said we're getting Alpha E off the Pharah. You nailed it. You are 2 for 2 after being on the stage for 15 minutes.
I hope Zeta bans the Rein. That would be, I think, the right choice for them. We'll see if they agree.
3 for 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Witness me.
I witnessed. Now call this series. How many
It
maps
does
we
feel
going?
good to be right, Bucket.
How many maps we going?
I'm going to say 6.
6?
I'm going to say
I agree.
I'm here for a long time and a good time. Let's make it happen. We've got our hero bands, or we've got the map loading up, and you can see the smiley face of Bernard as he makes his way back to the stage.
Yeah, and that just means one thing. Sigma is coming into play. That's not a hero Fearless would be playing, but certainly something that Bernard plays to extreme precision, a mainstay here on Circuit Royale. I mean, you look at the bands, I think both teams know exactly what the other team is going to be running.
They're very familiar with each other. They've been watching the VODs. They've been prepping for this moment. Christopher at breakfast was saying, you know, we don't play until the second match. I'm making sure the boys are in those shuttles early. We are getting to the venue, and we are going to get some playtime in, a little bit of practice. Is there a way to warm up against a team like Zeta Division? How do you replicate their playstyle?
I don't think it's about replicating their playstyle. It's about SSG finding their own unique style, finding their footing on it. It has delivered miracles for them before, but it's also fallen flat against some of the best teams in the world who find the right answers. And honestly, this Rein ban could spell trouble. While Ram can sometimes replace Rein in this style, the matchup against Sigma is much more difficult. You don't have those hard lockdowns from Pin and Shatter.
How do I shut down a Symmetra? Because I see Backbone on that stage. It means there's definitely going to be a sim in this game, yeah?
Very, very likely. It takes great awareness of the map. That TP can come in almost anywhere, and so every player has to make instant moves. One step out of place, and you will be cut apart.
We've got some fantastic Widow potential as well, but it's time to jump into the game. Let's get it going. Map number 2 is underway.
All right, here we go. Jump into Circuit once again. We will see. Is it going to be some more of that sim play, but also what's going to be happening here for the side of Space Station? It looks like Hadi is going to have to pick up the Sigma.
And that's a problem, right? And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Christopher as a coach, but I think he might have made a mistake here. Unless he can prove to me here in this particular map that this is exactly what you are supposed to do in terms of bans, Space Station should have protected the Rein. They should have banned out the Ram. So you get rid of Zeta Division's opportunity to play a brawl with Bernard in. Maybe you force, you know, someone like Fearless to play the Rein, which I don't think Zeta are going to be practiced on. That should be the matchup Space Station looking for. They want to force a Rein or Circuit Royale. There's no chance, I'm sorry to Hadi, no chance that Hadi can beat Bernard in this Sigma matchup. This is just not what SSG are built to do. Vastola could barely get past the Korean Sigmas. Hadi, he's not a trained off-tank. This is not a hero that's normally in his hero pool. This should be a Rein map for Hadi. They would have put Zeta in a very difficult situation if the Rein was an option to bring through on this map. Now it's not. So what are we going to see really from Space Station? This is it. It's going to be the Sigma, or I guess he could play the Ram, but if he plays the Ram, it's just like, you know, at least for a team like SSG, that's their poor man's Reinhardt. They'd rather be on Rein, but they allowed the Rein to go through. They allowed Zeta to ban the Rein.
Well, it looks like we just have to do a quick swap here. The headsets, Backbone having some audio issues, so we'll just go ahead and get those changed out. Unplug one, plug the other in. It's super simple, super easy, super fast to go ahead and move on from this. But of course, there are those pesky zip ties that we may have to be concerned about. So we'll just go ahead and get the admins, have that, get that taken care of, and then we can get things underway.
There's also one other consideration here. If you look at the SSG lineup, you'll notice that Funny Asher is still in here as well. So you have a situation where it's definitely going to be I mean, how do you play the double flex support here? Can you really, match up to Finn and Violet it on the double flex support. The other option for them would be to swap Backbone onto Funny Astra's position to add in an extra Zenyatta, add in something where, you know, an aim required hero. SSG have expressed in the past that they are willing to put Backbone on a flex support to make that work. But no, this is unfortunately for SSG not what they're going to be doing. So again, we have to hope that Christopher has really figured this one out, that Pharah really is a priority for them. But you got rid of the Pharah to do what? Play a Sigma mirror? I just don't think that's it. You know, I don't think that's the winning play.
I mean, the big curiosity that I have is what else goes along with it? Is it just what we saw highlighted there at the beginning that they end up sticking with? Is it going to be that Mei Symmetra with Hadi on the Sig, Funny Astra on the Lucio, Landon on the BAP? Or is there going to be something else? Because you already know on the opposite side, you're going to be going up against a hit scan of some sort. It's going to be that Widow. It's going to be that Ashe. Can you just reliably TP forward to try to get the punish there, deny those lines of sight, or are you going to get picked apart?
There's not really there's no such thing really as a Sigma TP comp. I mean, what are you really TPing into? You're just playing, there's no Sigma Brawl. That's not really a real thing. So unless Hadi swaps over towards a Ram right now, which still makes some sense, I think you can still play the Ram here and sort of get away with it. And you can tell that Zeta are ready for something like that, because before we went over to, you know, the technical pause here, I got a quick glimpse at what Zeta are actually locking in, and they're actually on the defense. Alfie's on a Mei. So Zeta are prepared for some type of TP Brawl strategy. They're thinking, we ban the Rein, the next best option for Hadi is going to be the Ram, probably a Ram Brawl coming through here, which means Alfie, don't bother starting on the Echo. Your Pharah is gone anyway. Might as well just play a Mei and help alleviate that pressure by putting the walls up, make it more difficult for Hadi and the rest of SSG to approach. And that's exactly, you know, the kind of strategy that Zeta are preparing for, because SSG a reasonably, somewhat easier team to read in terms of where the strengths and weaknesses are, which once again just shows how susceptible they can be for bans. But this is why this system exists, where if you are the team that has priority on bans, which SSG do, they can choose to protect the hero that they really want to play, but they didn't do that.
Insane. Caught a quick glimpse of him there in the background. Odd to just see Rascal up on stage, headset on, but not in the player's seat. It's there as the coach rotating around behind the scenes here. As whoa. Cameraman.
He's an Overwatch League champion as a coach and a player at the same time. So, you know, he's had a very decorated career at this stage in multiple different roles.
Yeah.
Back for OWCS Esports World Cup.
Apex Season 3 runner-up.
For Korea here on Zeta Division. They need a little bit more backup. Bringing in Changun and Rascal. Trying to make this one done.
Yeah,
Hardy can do some press-ups here. You can lie back, but, you know, last time we saw this, Hardy decided to do some press-ups, so we'll do that into, maybe we'll wait till map 3 or 4 before we get into that.
Yeah, for now, I think it's still early days here in the series. Of course, this could end up being a bit of a marathon, so if you gotta, you know, get woken up, get that blood flowing, then going for the push-ups a little bit later on could be the play.
If it is going to be a marathon, you need SSG to find these winning maps, and like Ants, very similar to the last series we casted.
Yes.
These maps have to be your winning maps. You know, they've had such good runs on Circuit Royale. They've defeated Korean teams on this. You know, they beat Fnatic on this particular map as well, where Hadi has unique capability to do some flexing between the off tanks and the main tanks in a way where it's kind of like someone at home, someone being the Toronto player, but Hardy's obviously going to be better at various picks across the main tank category, namely the Rein, and they have a very good win rate with the Rein on Circuit Royale because it plays excellently into something like the Sigma, which Burnout wants to play. So this could be one of the key maps that SSG unfortunately drop out of the series in terms of the selective pull if they mishandle the execution on this map or mishandle the drafting for the bans, and that very well could be the case. So again, I need SSG and Christopher to prove to me that banning Pharah was the right choice, and that not having the Rein available for Circuit, which is what they normally would play and win on, was the right choice to make.
Well, time will certainly tell, but for now, still just waiting for this headset to get swapped back in and make sure that everything's going to be working nicely here for Backbone. KitKat are definitely getting their money's worth here.
It's because you're here, Seth. Again, you are cursed for pauses, so...
You know, I cannot claim to have been responsible for Dallas, at least. Mm-hmm. I was on the other side of the world. Mm-hmm. So for that one, which I think is now the all-timer for Overwatch, I'm no longer holding the record.
I had fun doing that pause. I'm not gonna lie. I got to stand up out of my seat and walk around and enjoy the festivities. But no, I think if it is just a headset issue, we had a PC swap, I think, on one of the other days. So
Yeah, you were doing that. I was eating hot pot. I was at Heidi Lau or something like that. There was some good times, but should hopefully be ready to get things underway once again. Looks like we have to just maybe reset some stuff here on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
Get that cable management taken care of. That's something that I've never been good at. I'm in one of those positions. I don't know if you're the same. Like, I'm capable of and have built PCs in the past. Used to do that when I was in college. I don't really go for it anymore because my cable management is so bad.
Just hide it all behind curtains. No one needs to see it.
I just pay somebody to take care of that now for me.
Passing SSG stickers around. Go and get you one of those. SSG, by the way, do have a little spot in the the gaming area for the public to walk into, where SSG have their own stand.
Like on the boulevard.
Yeah, it's actually right opposite to the arenas where we are in. So yeah, there's a full public area for a whole bunch of expo stands, and SSG have their own stand there. So they're here as an organization in full force, supporting their teams, and one of their best teams, I think, has to be in Overwatch. And I'm sure they have the other teams coming through in the other games as well, all throughout this event. But SSG is one that they're really banking on, hoping to get some much required points to climb the club championship to, at this stage, I don't know if they can catch up to Falcons, but at least do some damage to get within the top echelon of teams, top 10 minimum, and maybe beyond.
Yeah, I mean, but as more and more teams fall, which of course, after today, we're just going to have 4 remaining. Turning the boulevard of broken teams. Everybody going to be going home.
And actually, SSG side of the bracket is very interesting because they do not have Falcons or Crazy Raccoons. So because it's single elimination tournament, you're in a situation where these teams, Zeta, Space Station, Twisted Minds, Toronto Ultra, one of them is going to the finals. And none of them will be faced up against the heavy tournament favorites, Crazy Raccoons or Team Falcons. So
yeah,
if Space Station get past Zeta Division, I have confidence that this team will actually go to the finals, because the other favorite in this group, I think, actually is Zeta Division. So this is the difficult game for SSG right now.
No, it really is. It's that second to last hurdle, realistically. You're breaking down, just given the strength of the groups. Obviously, we could have, big performances, breaking our expectations from either Twisted Minds or Toronto Ultra, whichever team is able to make it through that side of the bracket to match up against the winner here. But this does feel like this is kind of that jump. If you can make it over this, the next boss maybe a little bit weaker, and then you really do get to that end boss, which we are expecting to be Crazy Raccoon.
Because the thing about this tournament so far that it's shown us is that at least some of the Korean teams are beatable. Fnatic, they're already out of this tournament. They had a very difficult pathway out of groups to even get here. They barely made it into the groups. You look at Zeta Division, in their groups, they dropped a reasonable number of maps. I mean, yeah, they dropped the map to Bleed, they dropped the map to M80 even, and they have a situation where, okay, well, maybe the M80 map drop was a little bit more Kappa in terms of the, the substitution, whatever. But the Zeta series versus Bleed was very eye-opening, because even the Survasa, the second map, we were there for that one, was really, really close. So it's a step up from Fnatic, a team that SSG already beat. But Zeta are not infallible. I mean, this right now is not quite the top echelon yet. This is third seed from Korea. And so this side of the bracket is extremely important, because you are dodging the best teams, and Crazy Raccoons and Falcons have to eliminate each other. So one of them is going to be gone from the tournament probably earlier than they want to, which just allows somebody new to get into that final. So we're not just going to have a repeat Falcons, Crazy Raccoon final, a brand new opportunity for another team.
Which is insane to think about, that is going to be a potential semi-final clash, unless Virtus Pro says otherwise. Because, coming into the tournament, of course, everybody had that pegged for the grand final, saying like, yes, of course it's going to be those two teams once more, battling it out, trying to become the best team in the world. But one of them is likely to leave in the semifinals unless Virtus Pro can just go ahead and send Falcons out very early on here later today. So that's going to be one to certainly tune in for. I mean, all of these games, we're here, we're in the quarterfinals. All of these games are high stakes. All of these games are ones to tune in for.
I'll tell you what, VP beating Falcons would be the upset of the tournament. LGD beating Falcons is already a huge upset, but in some ways, there's precedent for that, because you look at the history of, the core of those two teams. Yeah, I mean, LGD back then as Team China's or Hangzhou Spark, they've beaten that core from Falcons before. It's not unheard of, but it would be a lot more unheard of for Virtus Pro to do it against Team Falcons, as some players will just catch a little bit of Z's here before we get into things. Just rest up, calm your nerves. This is the moment to really have a bit more of a think about how you're going to approach the rest of the series. It's very, very, very important for both these teams. For a third seed Korean team to not make it deep in the tournament, I mean, the expectation for Zeta minimum, I think, is top 4. And now they have the opportunity to make it to a final. It would be their first final as well, where they've been kind of stonewalled by Crazy Raccoon and Team Falcons in the past. This is Zeta's opportunity for Space Station. It would be the highest and best result for a European team in, what, like 7 years of Overwatch esports.
Yeah.
So Space Station have been waiting for this one. They've been waiting to prove that they are better than everyone else. They're waiting to prove that they can match the Koreans, beat the Koreans. To beat one Korean team, they want to beat a second.
I mean, last time that comes to mind, that major success of a European team. I mean, Johnny, you would say Rogue.
Sorry,
You'd say my team.
They didn't beat the. I messed it up. Fnatic actually did beat SSG. I was still thinking about NC. So
I was-
a European team did beat a Korean team.
Yes.
SSG probably could have done it versus Fnatic. They didn't quite do it, but okay.
Let's be
so
fair.
Let me
They
rephrase,
should have done
Let
it.
me rephrase that. SSG nearly beat the Korean team. This time, they want to turn that nearly into a, actually, yes, we did beat a Korean team.
Right. I was going to give some credit over, of course, to the European squads of yore.
Yeah.
Of course, Envy going into the Lion's Den and being able to take down the Korean teams within their own region. First time that had ever happened in a team-based game on Korean soil. But everything's taken care of. Backbone's got his audio once more, and now we can get the map underway. As stated, looks like they are going to be sticking with the Symmetra here. The TP forward is going to be a tempo push coming in for the side of Space Station Gaming, immediately getting in onto the corner, but kill cannot be found.
That's a TP gone. When's the next TP going to come through? Are they just going to play at this breakneck pace the whole time? It's difficult because they have the payload. You are slowed down by the fact that you can only really go as fast as the payload will allow you to, unless you want to play 4v5 or just give up the payload distance entirely for that one fight. Zeta Division, they have time just to kind of see where the walls come through.
Looking for the
Wait a little bit.
isolation.
That will actually help burn out a little bit. Got him
Yes,
to
it
the high
did.
ground.
Got him on the high ground, got him the drop down. Bernard eating quite a bit of damage here, but that is going to be more than fine for Finn and Violet.
By the way,
we're trying to keep pace here on the ults.
Zeta should not be losing the poke battle. They have double flex support. Space Station have a Lucio. There's no way Zeta Division are getting heavily out damaged here.
Well, a decent amount of reply there from Violet. We're on to the Zenyatta, which is not something we've been seeing a ton of here in this tournament quite just yet, but Violet going to be taken down. Speak his name and he shall fall. Zenyatta immediately eliminated. Amp Matrix going to be coming through, as is that Immortality Field. They're just trying to keep him alive. Finn with a nice peel. Does find Funny Astro. Hart still getting quite a bit of distance here. As Landon fighting back with an Amp Matrix of his own. 1.26 meters left to go, and with no tank, this is likely just going to be Alpha Yi falling, losing the contest here on the cart. And that cap coming in. Violet rejoins just to die. And it's going to be 5 minutes and 6 seconds here for Space Station.
I mean, the reputation is that Korea is faster, but maybe that only applies to dive. Maybe when we talk about the poke or the brawl, it turns out that EU is faster and Korea is too slow. But the problem I have here is, how is Zeta losing the poke battle when they have double flex support and Funny Astro is on a Lucio? You have a situation where Backbone got the first pick. You have an Ashe on the side of Flora. There's no hit scan for Space Station. Zeta must be doing something extremely wrong to be losing a damage battle in the poke phase.
I just haven't been able to confirm any of the kills. We can see some of those HP bars really just wavering on the side of SSG, but then the stability is found. Funny Astro about to have the beat online, just 10% away from that one. Is Dynamite not going to find anything? Photon Barrier invested now. Sparker segmenting the map. Accretion connecting Backbone. They're into that ice block, but Bernard going to be taken down. Hani, however, interrupted as he goes for the flux, and that is going to be catastrophic. Flora coming up with 2. Immortality Field taken down. Backbone dead on the staircase, and this was all Flora all day long in this fight.
Hardy using the flux here is a little too far. He had very little HP. He needs Funny Astro to also use Sound Barrier. I mean, they're kind of waiting both segments for the Rock exchange, the Accretion exchange, because no one wants to get rocked out of their ultimate. But for Space Station, okay. Bernard's gone. Hardy gets free reign. Funny Astro doesn't save him.
Flora ready for that TP. Sound Barrier now going to be dropped in. The flux coming through here from Bernard. Transcendent still crucially in the back pocket here for Violet. The drop down, HP bar is going to be shattered but not fully broken. Is everybody able to stay alive? Transcendence used there, but Ant Matrix has to be pulled off of, so Valiant cannot be found. Now Finn is about to have his own Ant Matrix, so advantage for the most part here in the hands of Zeta Division, but Violent's going to be taken down. Backbone finding the headshot.
It's Backbone. He's out damaging a hit scan and double flex DPS, and now Space Station have a strong chance of actually capping this one. Finn might just have to burn this window now. He can't really afford to wait too long.
And Violent is going to be a pretty slow run back, so he's going to swap it over. Goes for the Lucio as well, just a match in that regard. Ant Matrix, the wall coming through. The cutoff there on a Bernard. Immortality Field comes in to keep him alive. Grecian not connecting. The card, 3.46 meters left to go. Wind a bit of absorption there from Hadi on the kinetic grasp. Quite a bit of damage across onto Vitalist as he does nearly get taken down. Turret set up on the exit. Card for now still going to be halted. Alpha close to the Blizzard, but close to death. Heals coming through. Finn doing his damnedest to try to keep this May alive. Sparker at the same time. Another Proton Barrier about to come in. Bernard is going to be the first one to fall. Mortality Field now pushed forward. Funny Astro similarly to beat nearly online, but Hadi will also get traded out. Tank for tank. Beat now in play. Violent. He does not have his sound barrier to use. Alpha Yi out of the ice block, into the fire, taking an immense amount of damage. His Backbone's able to
collect it. The bomb! Where's the bomb?
Gone! How did it end up there? He's moved his way over in towards C. It must have been a boop. Denying that sight line. You see where 4 is at. I have to assume that Funny Astro displaced it, but either way, it's 3 minutes and 40 seconds with Bernard getting staggered.
This is going so wrong for Zeta. They had the better composition, but they're just getting out-damaged. Backbone with so many opening picks so far on these points, and now Bernard getting staggered as well. Alfie not quite having the Blizzard in time. Bob not quite being there in time as well, so here goes the Bob. And
I think it slides off the front of the cart.
It's just gone, yeah. It just got sent into the abyss. Is there an Ajax there as well?
That's what they're calling out. Granted, the teams have been saying C9, so maybe we just have to educate some of the European teams on what these terminologies mean. But either way, Space Station, they certainly are looking like they know the definition of the word win, because things are going well. Flux out from Hadi. Ant Matrix dropped in, looking for the accretion. That is now on cooldown, which opens up Bernard to potentially use his own Flux, but Alpha going to be taken out. Violet dead. Flux will come into play. Flora down to a sliver off screen. The drop down, the kill's not found. Hadi managing to survive. Bernard once again the last man standing, but not for long. Gets taken down, and this is a very pacey push here for SSG.
Well, now this is going to be a cap because Landon and Funny Astro of Ultimate Zeta just have been out-tempoed, especially on C. No, it's not going to happen. Is very impressive for SSG, but hilariously embarrassing for the side of Zeta Division, where it's acceptable. So here's the argument. On C, the Lucio with the speed, the TPs, going up and down the high ground, etc., all those plays for the Sigma matchup, I think favors SSG. If you want to talk to me about that being a good composition, a good pick for SSG in that moment, I would 100% agree. Everywhere else on this map just shouldn't be the case. And it's a comedy of errors. There's too many things. Okay, Violet also, Violet also Ajax is what I'm talking about. There's a comedy of errors here for Zeta Division where the Bob goes into Narnia, absolutely has 0 angles. Flora didn't even have that one boop. It just got rolled over the cart. I think he aimed it towards the payload, but it just skipped over the front wheel of the payload and went to their spawn. Like, Violet gets Ajax. What's going on? This is like, this is embarrassing for Zeta, quite frankly.
Oh, I mean, it's certainly not good. Violet getting Ajax, not necessarily the newest thing. We had seen a decent amount of that over in OWCS Korea. You know, it's one of those things where you live by and die by Violet at times. But this was certainly, across the board, a very surprising result for Zeta Division.
I mean, yeah, it's C. We can make the argument, the Lucio speed and the TPs, everything, that's great. That is exactly where this comp starts to come alive, which is why there was 0 resistance on C. You can argue there wasn't a lot of resistance elsewhere either, but I think that's coming down to the fact that Backbone had 2 very important opening picks, which then brings to the question, what on earth are Alfie, Flora, Finn, Violet doing? You know, they have the range. God. We have a spawn cab, actually, okay.
We do, and we have Finn getting taken down, but Backbone's going to be burnt down here as Alfie also able to find Sparker. And, well, forward hold, I like the cheeky attempt. I like the rush play here, but ultimately it is going to be Zeta Division coming out on top is in both the fight as well as in ult charge.
I still respect that SSG keeping the pace up, but Sigma spawn hold, very different from Ryan spawn hold. If they had a Ryan here, that would be a very effective position, but Zeta, yeah, it's just going to be a mirror matchup where you have a lot of off-angling. I don't think Space can cover those angles the same way. Sig just doesn't have the same survivability in that sense either. So how does Zeta slow this down? Zeta need to just slow that game down a lot. Space Station have to keep playing quickly. You have to really look at where these TPs are coming from, watch those speed boosts from Funny Astro, and allow Zeta Division, if you're looking at it from their POV, to slowly spam down Space Station, win those damage battles, win those shield battles, keep Hadi low.
Christian going to be going wide, dodging out as Hottie backpedaling, kinetic grasp coming through, but Dynamite ticking away. Sort of some of that shielding and Immortality Field has to be used by Landon to try to keep him safe. Violent going to be taken down, Backbone able to find the kill right as that Amp Matrix comes through. When Bernard off on Coast side, he will fall down. So
Backbone
solid return here as Backbone leading the charge, looking for a little bit more. They will lose Hottie. That's going to be a decently slowish run back here for him, but the 4 dead on the back end gives him time to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, Backbone is just controlling this game right now. He's certainly being able to aim quite effectively. Ultimate's starting to really come online for both teams as it's going to get quite bloody now. Zeta Division struggling to get this cap underway. Now, yes, their composition is certainly slower, but they need to be able to really use the range advantage here. Not going to have too much range advantage on the hairpin at least, but if they can win this part, they might be okay.
Yeah, Metrics in, but the Photon Barrier denying it away, stopping it from gaining value, and Finn eliminated. Hottie finding that kill. Flux still in the back pocket, and Finn still 21% away from that Transcendence. Just going to be pretty much damn near necessary to try and survive that Flux when it comes through, because there's a Blizzard that could be waiting for them at the bottom.
Yeah, Blizzard's on both sides now, but Funny Astro I think has a really good ultimate. Funny Astro.
Bernard sending it. Seeking target, looking for the pickup. Grabs Backbone, but Sound Barrier shielding comes through. They keep him protected. Elimination's not bound. They get rid of the ult, but now the counter Flux is going to be coming in. Pick up on the 2 into the Ice Block goes out the Yi. The Blizzard right there at their feet. Transcendence now going to be used, but Violent already headshot taken down. They lose out on one of their supports. Backbone similarly going to be frozen. Kill confirmed. This floor finds the elimination. Hottie's back statue. Discord Orb here on the Sigma, but still somehow not getting punished for quite some time. Eventually we'll be able to find the headshot as Funny Astro goes diving forward, but will give his life for that one as Finn just tries to stay alive, tucking back here behind the barriers. Eventually will fall to Sparker's hand, but things open up a little bit more now for the side of Zeta Division to get the push going.
Flores starting to come alive now as well. He's really able to use his Ash and the Bob coming through in the previous fight. But you have another situation where, once again, Backbone touches, Backbone gets the, he does touch for a brief second there, but Backbone gets the opening pick again. So it really is Backbone being the linchpin of Space Station to allow them to find these kills, to win these type of situations where it's meant to be a poke battle, but Zeta Division is just down 1 when Backbone gets a kill.
Everyone's spamming out C9 here on both sides. Seems like we have to set up a educational session, do some consultation for everybody
they
here.
They can present it to the council, but I'm not going to certify it, so it doesn't matter.
Fair point. Yeah, Matrix here from Landon in play. Everybody just tucked back, abandoning the card for now. Hottie just bouncing his Hyperspheres around the corner, trying to build up towards that next Flux. Bernard got him beat by about 20% or so. Need Funny Astro trying to find that next Sound Barrier.
Oh, Backbone again!
Delivers again!
Insane!
Headshot across. Alfie going to be taken down. Bernard is really backpedaling as there's the Photon Barrier up in front of this Amp Matrix once again. And this comp from Space Station just continues to have the answers and say, okay, you use this ult, we've got this one. You want to use the Flux that you have coming up? Funny Astro's going to have beat.
I will say as well, Spark on the Sim is, like, the wall is a very good ultimate for this particular matchup. It blocks out a lot. I mean, we're talking mostly about Sigma poke battles here. The wall is a game changer. You can also just, as we've seen twice now, block out the window coming through from Violet. But largely, it comes back down to what has been said multiple times now. Somehow, Backbone is out-sniping everybody. You'd think he's on a Widowmaker right now.
I mean, yep, they're playing a game of rock, paper, paper, and right now it's Zeta Division with the rock. They just cannot win this out. Flux now coming into play. Finn has to pop the Transcendence. Safe on the drop down. Here are these players. Immortality Field going to be cleared out. Now they look for their own Flux, but Funny Astro, depending on the catch, has the beat ready. Instantly drops it. The shield comes in. Alfie going to be caught up there into the Blizzard. Frozen. Immortality Field keeping alive for now. Increasing hit from Bernard, point blank range, though, will take down Hottie. Backbone dead means that the fight becomes winnable as Flora will pick up 4.
They don't have a lot of ultimates, so Violet's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting in the next fight. To be fair, though, SSG also used everything. This is the catch-up moment for Zeta. I will say, though, even if Zeta get this B cap, it's looking unlikely that they match the time bank of Space Station. Space Station just finished.
They're going to start with the time bank of Space Station.
Well, that's just, essentially, I think it's going to cost the whole minute for Zeta to get this cap.
And there's still going to be an opportunity here for a last-second contest, so they can take away even more of this. And there it is, another headshot. Everybody on Zeta Division knowing Backbone's wrath. Funny Astro will get traded out, but there's another one. Backbone able to find 2. Let's just go ahead and start counting headshots, shall we? Headshot there on Alfie, takes him low. Immortality Field going to be cleared out. Bernard, the barrier not going to last. He's walled into the corner. He will die. And that is now 40 seconds remaining. Space Station able to get the contest.
This is about to be the most legendary legendary Mei performance of all time. At what point do you have a player with this level of consistency and accuracy in a comp that's not designed to beat the mirror? A Zen, Bath, another Mei on the opposite side, and a Nash. That just shouldn't be real. But Backbone, he's making miracles happen.
From the hand of God here, it would seem, as Finn just isolated, stuck into the back, taken down, had the slow field set up from Hadi, and Funny Astro able to find the headshots across. Alpha eliminated. That's a lot of your staying power. It's a lot of your delay. It's another headshot from Backbone as Flora will fall. And that is going to be this map coming to a conclusion. Space Station Gaming, they had the gameplay strategy. Hadi looked a hell of a lot better than we could have anticipated on that Sigma, but Backbone looks like a god.
And we just got out of that game, and in the chat that you guys don't see, Hadi types in, he says, Bernard nervous. Christopher says, should have banned Lucio, boys. Ban Mei, maybe. Backbone says, I agree with all the above. I mean, we're looking at a situation now where it's dangerous. If SSG can pilot a Sigma comp like this, then you gotta be worried if you're Zeta Division. But at the same time, can we talk about the fact that what was the comedy errors from Zeta Division on this map with all of the mistakes they made with the Bob and the Ajax and the fact they just continue to get picked by Backbone? What are we doing with Flora's, Ashe in this gameplay? What's happening with all the range damage? You're Violent on Zen, one of his best heroes of all time. This guy won the Overwatch League playing Zen. He's one of the GOATs on Zen of all time. But he looked like an amateur in this setup. I mean, what is going on? Zeta were not themselves here. They were, honestly, that was probably the worst of Zeta that I've ever seen.
I mean, Backbone making that Mei, it gave me shades of, no, more than shades of Libero back on Meta Athena in the Apex days when Mei was absolutely busted, but no one else really knew how to pilot it. That was incredible. Let's pass it down, though, to the analyst to break down the action from Circuit.
Thank you very much, Avril and Achilleos, and you have a very happy Puckett on the stage, because I have an alt account called Super Mei. Backbone, making me want to get back on that account as fast as possible. Jake, can you play this Mei on all maps, or was this a specialty pick here? You saw it coming from a mile away.
I do think SSG are going to try to make this work. I don't know about every single map, but anywhere they possibly can, because even if you take away the Rhine, I would have thought that was the crucial piece here in the comp. Just the Mei sim together, banning Pharah, protecting both heroes simultaneously. I mean, there's just no better team in the world when it comes to the sim rush style, and even knowing that it's coming, Zeta Division can't stop it. It's just inevitable.
I think the technical delay gave these players a little opportunity to refocus on SSG. You can see Funny Astro catching a pillow. He was leaning back, lounging. They seem to come in super confident, super relaxed, and on the other side, you can see with the trash talk going back and forth, emotions might be going high there on Zeta Division.
Yeah, I mean, certainly there was a lot of trash talk back and forth, but what I think you really have to commend here is SSG just bringing Zeta to a map and then running compositions that they probably don't get a whole lot of practice against. This was sort of an EU special, and if you're playing in Korea all the time, you just wonder, it's like, well, wait, we're not even playing against this stuff all that often. It kind of brings back the memories of teams just dropping series randomly to Chengdu, because it'd be like, how do you practice for Chengdu? I don't know.
Taking us back a few years. Love to hear it there. Jake, though, walk me through this matchup. Who had the biggest impact? Who were you impressed by? And who needs to clean things up?
Honestly, I mean, I give credit to all of SSG. As much as you can look like one individual player, like it's their team play on the Mei sim comp, their ability to execute with the ults, every single hero being played to perfection. But if you wanted to highlight one, I mean, Backbone, he's going to be consistent with the Blizzard, with the wall, doing his job really on Mei. But when he finds opening kills, snipes across the map into the BAP zen, I mean, that's not supposed to happen, right? That's going above and beyond. And so when Backbone heats up, he can be a huge threat. And that's the X factor of the comp. Mei is not really a sniper, but when she finds picks like that, it feels like you have one on your team.
Speaking of Zen, we've seen some incredible Zen play from Violet across his career. Can he pull it out again? Was that a mistake at all? ZP, we look forward to the future maps, hybrid push and flashpoint still to go.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't feel like the strongest choice there. I mean, look, I'm not going to say Violet can't play Zen because clearly the resume is there. But on the same note, you look at what players have been able to do with Illari in that same situation.
Yes.
And you know what Violet can do with Illari, and you really have to wonder, like, was that really the peak performance that